So, Dr. Mumper asked me to write a letter. Well, not a letter. I ended up writing a letter, but he asked me to write something for the occasion. And my wife said to write something celebratory and festive. I disappointed her. So, I hope I don't disappoint you as well. But anyway, I wrote you a letter, Dr. Mumper. A letter to Mumper from a 4 a.m. campus. I think I'm the first one to campus every day. Not 100% sure. Maybe the police officers, maybe. I don't know. But I typically get here about 4 a.m. A letter to Mumper from a 4 a.m. campus. Dear Michael, only the deer welcome me to campus. Quiet as question marks, they lift their heads and watch me as I move toward the building. They are not like the deer I have known all my life. There is no fear in their bodies, no tense muscles locked and set on the edge of some real or imagined flight from danger. They graze in the thick fog, in the memory of yesterday's rain as it lingers and kisses at the lights of campus. They graze as everything glows new and ghostly. None of them seem to dream of running. They seem to have other purposes that are not yet immediately evident. The smallest of the bunch steps toward me, a young doe. Her eyes are dark planets, legs as thin as razors of bone and flesh. My first year at Adams, I met Raynel Gallegos. She was in my Com Arts 1 class, sitting at the back of the room. She had long hair and tight curls. Thin rays of blonde highlights rivered through and disappeared as they neared her shoulders. Her eyes were dark and round. She smiled often. I believed that she loved school, our school, the promise of it. She would ask me about various paper topics if I believed they were good. I was an adjunct, newly married and working for $2,900 a section, but she trusted me when I told her that I did not believe she was writing about her true subjects. She looked at me. There was questioning in her eyes, but she nodded and moved toward her desk, her pen pushing furiously at the paper as she purged some truer subject from everything she had ever been told about writing. She confided in me, told me how her other professors said her writing was unorganized and lacked clarity. I believe we understood one another. She from San Luis, me from Antonito. We knew in our collective memory the way so many of our students know that really, despite the slogans, mission statements, and educated people around us that profess our place in the academic world, that really, in the true place the heart cannot reveal, a stored place for secrets, wishes, and fear, both of us felt like we did not belong. I assured Raynel that her writing was as circular and ancient as moons, planets, and suns. Her thoughts looping toward one another in intersecting orbits of joy, pain, and hope, each sentence linked by some invisible yet obvious confluence with her language, oral tradition, heritage, ancestors, and unique worldview. I did not know it then, but in retrospect, I think she knew that she was dying, that there was a tumor in her brain draining daily everything that she'd ever known and smiled at. I believe now, nearly 15 years later, that she considered the possibility that education could literally save her life. How there is magic in books, defined and cataloged magic, indexed, annotated, and given to us for the sole purpose of making us beautiful and whole. That is a tall order for all of us, to save lives with our knowledge, to provide hope where hope is limited as sight in a dark and windowless room. Raynel disappeared after that, not in the literal sense that death brings, though she did pass some years later. Something pulled her away from school, from her vision of who she wanted to be. It may have been something as dire and simple as her failing health that took her away from school. But I've been here long enough, seen my share of the young ghosts whose dream has been snuffed out by some unwritten code the faculty too often follow. I know it's cliche, but it is a dream, the moments when we imagine ourselves better than we started, more intelligent and grown. I love Adams State, want her to prosper, but I too have taken part in the unintentional and sometimes subliminal derailing of students. Participated in the expectation that somehow they are subpar, that perhaps we are also subpar because this is where we settled. I hear my colleagues in meetings, in the hallway, in social gatherings, sometimes in our silence, lamenting the quality of our students, perhaps secretly wishing that we were at a better or bigger school, or both. We find in the midst of those conversations our diamonds, the ones we hold up to the others as examples of what is possible. Our few and gleaming examples of intelligent students, the ones that slake our thirst and supposedly keep us. Lately, I have come to this revelation, this salvation finally visited upon the sinner, if you will, just how brilliant and powerful our students really are. We seek out the diamonds, the ones that are most like us, and for them, the world is opened, the magic loosed upon them in a supernova of knowledge and the newly minted hope that all learning brings. Yet for those that are not like us, the ones that have not done their best work, not tried hard enough, those students, they are the ones we hold up as what is wrong with Adams State. I remember a faculty meeting my first year here. As an adjunct, I did not dare speak up when my colleagues began discussing the inadequacies of Raynell and her writing. One of them asked who her comm arts teacher was, and I did not raise my hand. I was silent as 4 a.m. deer. Later that week, the same professor came to my office and chastised me for passing her, with an A no less. Apparently, Raynell had told this professor that Mr. Abeyta said it was good writing. Years later, I'm sure she was wearing a wig, but I didn't dare ask. I once again saw her in the hallway. She had decided to come back to school. She was nice to me. We spoke for a few minutes, and she revealed that she'd been very sick, but was feeling better. I think of her more often now. I can no longer hear her real voice, only this one that asked to be included in this letter to you, only this one that I have adopted here. It is a soft voice. You may need to strain in order to hear it among the louder voices of celebration, exuberance, and growth. I cannot say for certain why she comes to me on these AM walks during the short distance between my vehicle and the door to the building. Perhaps this is her earthly place, not a haunting. Her voice is at peace, but rather a place for her to rest from the work of the afterlife, the constant prayers of family, the business of being diligent for us that do not pay enough attention. I'm not saying that Raynell was a great student, but I believe she had faith in the power of education. Faith in what is, for some, the slow and arduous steamroller of learning that lays low the many obstacles placed in their paths. The obstacle of illness, of poverty, of schools that never believe. The obstacle of family obligations, of the hunger, both literal and figurative. The obstacles of low expectations, of broken and weary bodies, of unanswered prayers, of fallen friends, of wells that go dry, and jail doors that close. Obstacles of bottles that drain daily like an intravenous prayer for hope. Drugs that evaporate into blood for generations. Fields that call for plow and shovel. Animals that need tending. A child that needs someone to see her play. All of this is the miracle of Adams State. A miracle of joy, sweat, and perseverance that makes our students the best in the country. Each of them, in their own way, despite their obstacles, has come here for a sole purpose, to be better. They are strong as memory, strong as blood, strong as a valley wind. Each a constellation of their many parts, some stars brighter, others red and dying, all of them constant in their burning. Soon the voices of students will reverberate down the halls and sidewalks as they move seemingly without effort. toward their classrooms and the professors they may come to trust. None of us shall see their load, the invisible weight they carry, the heaviness that has made them strong. The planet-eyed doe takes another step in my direction. She turns toward the other deer, all of them watching as I enter the building, ears set on edge as if I might possibly speak to them. I nod in their direction, almost wave, as if something invisible has commanded it. They disappear into the fog. Only a memory of their sleek bodies and dark eyes lingers. The door clicks behind me. The building is empty. Raynell and the others, like her, finally let go and leave me to my work.